Welcome, everybody. August 14, 2025, approximately 3:30 p.m. on East Coast of the North American continent, outside of Charlotte, North Kakalaki. Let's get right to it. Alaska skies on lockdown, no-go zone. NORAD says the FAA has sealed off airspace above Anchorage ahead of Trump and Putin meeting at Joint Base Elmendorf-Richardson. Dun, dun, dun. Also in sports, the 2025 World Humanoid Robot Games opens in Beijing. Yay! Over 500 robots representing 280 teams from 16 countries are ready to compete and scare you into even scared James Cameron from the Terminator. Excellent milestone for technology and innovation. Showcases a rapid advancement in robotics and brings together global talent to push the boundaries of what humanoid robots can achieve. This event could spark new collaborations and inspire breakthroughs in AI and automation. Right now, the robots are doing the best version of the YMCA. Young man, your young robot, it's fun to stay in the CIPA. What is that thing? Looks like a guitar, or is he holding a weapon? What? That's funky. Oh, it's the bass guitar. It's the drummer. Okay. If Metallica was a robot, there's Lars for you. That might be an upgrade on Lars. I don't know. Yeah, we got the DJ over here. DJ, what would you say? Johnny Five. DJ Johnny Five. Oh, Johnny Five is alive. If for those of you old enough to remember, batteries not included. AI-powered radar can now spy on your cell phone calls from 10 feet away. That's Tyler Durden writes at Zero Hedge. Oh, great. More surveillance. A team of Penn State computer scientists have cooked up a chilling new way to eavesdrop, detecting the microscopic vibrations your smartphone gives off during a call and translating them into words using AI. Good night, everybody. The method relies on millimeter wave radar. Wow. Great doogly moogly. You're not even safe from just sitting. Again, eventually, just don't even get these things. Well, you'll have to have one just to purchase any kind of. They're going to make it so you have to have it to live. Red or blue, AI is coming for you. Roses, we're a poet here. As is AI coming for your job. It may depend on who you voted for in the 2024 presidential election. If you voted for DJT, your job is likely safe. If you voted for Cackles Harris, you have reason to be concerned. Quietly last month, Microsoft released a study of the jobs most and least likely to be replaced by artificial intelligence. The study results track closely to the socioeconomics of the 2025 presidential election and the political realignment sweeping the nation. The jobs most likely to be displaced by artificial intelligence fit the profile of the college-educated elite who are back in the Democrat Party. Those jobs include writers and authors, reporters, historians, and political scientists. Most of those are just worthless because, yes, is history great? Yes. But if these guys just make up whatever they want and it's some kind of woke-wise, don't need them. These are roles rooted in so-called knowledge work, which is the gathering and interpreting of information, producing written content, and communicating ideas. These are the tasks artificial intelligence currently does best, and they do a great job with it. Hence why last year Hollywood was protesting AI taking over Hollywood, which Hollywood's just going to have AI movies so far. On the high seas, the Navy is 3D printing its way out of supply chain delays. The U.S. Navy is testing industrial scale 3D printing systems it says could reshape the way it supplies and repairs its ships, aircraft, and other equipment, particularly in remote or contested environments where weeks-long waits for parts are not an option. U.S. MQ-9 drone just flew a mission deep into Mexico. The flight of the U.S. Customs and Border Patrol Guardian drone comes as the Trump administration is ramping up its campaign against Mexican drug cartels and can bomb anybody into the Stone Age. The MQ-9 Guardian medium altitude long endurance male, if you're nasty, drone operated by U.S. CBP flew deep into Mexico this morning, according to the flight tracking data. What at least appears publicly to be a very rare event comes as the DJT administration has reportedly authorized the military to take action against cartels in Mexico. The drone using the call sign Troy 701 took off from San Angelo, Texas about 4 a.m. Eastern Time and flew more than 800 miles south, including about 600 miles deep into Mexican airspace, according to data provided by Flight Radar 24 and shared on X by our friend, the new Area 51. Troy is known as DHS call sign, and San Angelo is one of the 3 locations where CBP has MQ-9s. Are you down with OPP? Figure, well, before we keep going with the acronyms, might as well. The military variant of the Guardian is the MQ-9 Reaper, which can employ a variety of weapons in addition to collecting data from a vast array of reconfigurable sensors. CBP's MQ-9 variants are not armed. Isn't that? The drone was operating behest of the Mexican government, according to the head of the nation's Secretariat of Security and Citizen Protection, Omar Garcia Harfuch. Anyway, here we go. You can check it out. Everything's already in the show notes underneath, again, in chronological order. The police state has a new playbook: martial law, one city at a time. This is according to John Whitehead's commentary from the Rutherford Institute. It's our job to make the government play by the rules of the Constitution, which, yes, let's not mince words. Every American should be alarmed by President Trump's Liberation Day tactics, theatrics, and threats. What is unfolding in the nation's capital is a hostile takeover of our constitutional republic. Now, I'm agreeing with Professor McClanahan. It's already a federalized city, and they have the ruling to be able to do that in D.C. It's when you get outside D.C. is the problem. He's been wanting to do Chicago, New York City, Yes, New York City, L.A., Oakland, other places. And they can't do that. They can do it in D.C. Not that I'm a fan of what's going on, but they can't. Does the Bible command Christians to protect the pathological liars and criminally insane psychopaths and genocidal maniacs in Israel? It's a great title. It goes into after what's his face. Lindsey Graham comes out and says that God's going to produce Armageddon because we're not siding with the Holocaust, the modern Holocaust people. Find a hobby. You know what? Trump cops heckled off street in D.C. amid takeover. Federal cops left an area of Washington, D.C. after they were heckled by protesters amid President and once a future king DJT's takeover of policing in the Capitol. Trump held a press conference Monday to announce the deployment of the National Guard troops in D.C., a move critics have described as a stunt to distract from the uproar over deceased sex criminal Jeffrey Epstein, which we all think that too. Man charged for throwing a sandwich at an officer in D.C. worked at DOJ and has been fired. And apparently the guy makes a lot of money because if you ever go into a place that sells a sandwich, it costs you an arm and a leg. So you can't go to Jimmy John's and get that's a $10, $15. In D.C., it's probably a $15 or $20 sandwich, man. I mean, you can't just waste stuff like that. You're gonna go to the dollar menu and get a $1 burger or something if you're gonna do something like that. You don't throw a $16 sandwich. What is wrong with you? Federal agents in Trump's crime crackdown set up checkpoint in popular D.C. nightlife area. The increased law enforcement presence drew a crowd of protesters a day after the National Guard was deployed on the streets. What happens if you get into an Uber and they arrest your Uber driver? steps away from the YMCA. I did not read this beforehand and start doing that with the robots. Totally quinky dink. A popular bakery and a local pharmacy, a group of law enforcement officers across several agencies turned a busy intersection into a mixed residential commercial area of Washington, D.C., into a police checkpoint Wednesday night as part of Once a Future Kings, DJT's directive to crack down on crime in the nation's capital. Next commentary. 6 months into his presidency, Once a Future Emperor DJT has created a police state. This is from the Yakima Herald Republic and a store Raleigh from the Chicago Tribune. Yeah, just again, you've seen these before, just in a way, just different written up. LA school year begins with lookouts for ICE as well as normal thrills and jitters. So again, we were watching local news because here in Charlotte, or well, I'm not in Charlotte, but Mecklenburg County is getting together with the school boards, trying to get together to figure out what to do because what's going on is there's agents outside some of the schools and they can't go in the schools, but they're waiting to get the kids. They're talking about how they, if they can grab the kids outside of school and use them against their parents. That was a real story on local news the other day. My wife even goes, what? Putin praises Trump's energetic and sincere peace efforts ahead of the Alaska summit. The Russian leader suggested Thursday that a deal on nuclear arms control could also be a part of the talks that are expected to focus on ending the war in Ukraine that we keep sending armaments to. Yeah. Here's just I put up the RT Twitter or X page just because they had a bunch of stuff. If you just go to the X page, you'll see all these. White House spokesman says spokesperson or spokeswoman says John Bolton has made a disgrace of himself. So-called foreign policy experts who've never solved a foreign policy conflict in their lives. Levitt also says Trump has stopped 7 global conflicts so far. When you just make up a number, you know what? Why stop at 7? You know what? I'll be out there. And Levitt, go out there and say Trump has stopped 137 global contracts so far. We're still bombing Somalia, though. And we want the ethnic cleansing in Gaza, but we stopped 130 global. Did we just go up 3? He just, in less than 30 seconds, he stopped 5 more global conflicts. Because this is in reply to ABC News asking the guy who's never met a bomb that didn't like to explode, John Bolton, does Trump deserve some credit for brokering multiple police deals? No. Okay. It's just some questions Trump had in the office at the desk. Could Trump reduce NATO troop presence in Europe for a Ukraine peace deal? Says it's not on the table right now, but I'll think about that for later. The world will be watching how long the Trump-Putin talk lasts. Bad meeting will end very quickly. 47 says a good meeting. We're going to end up getting a piece of the pretty near future. We're going to get peace in the pretty near future, and maybe they'll go, fly fishing out afterwards. Who knows? Let's see. Trump thinks Putin would like to see a deal. Then he goes, I think if I were president, if I weren't president, he would take over all of Ukraine. I mean, doesn't matter. I mean, Brandon and him are still giving weapons, so not like they're doing anything. Trump on allowing journalists into Gaza. I'd like to see that happen, sure. Netanyahu's been restricting reporters from going into enclave independently. Could Alaska summit end up rewarding Putin? Trump says no. I don't think it's a reward. Second meeting would be more important. Maybe we'll bring some of the Epstein binders to European leaders along. Maybe not. I don't know. That's going to be very important. Trump repeats he's solved 6 wars so far, though thought the Ukraine conflict would be the easiest, but it never made sense, this one. But he still gives Ukraine weapons. Here's the combat preparation never stops. Russian and Chinese Navy ships set sail from Avacha Bay today, practicing formation techniques and anti-robot defense, less than 2 weeks after large-scale joint sea exercises. Also, upcoming Trump summit lessons chance of World War III. Hungary's FM's whatever his last name says. Always better when major powers talk, and Biden, Europe, irresponsible for refusing to speak with Putin. There's another one here. Oh, well. Erdogan said something about that he's looking for. Oh, yeah. Ritter's talking about the upcoming meeting too. Oh, well. Anyway, check it out in the show notes. You can look through it. How Alaska is preparing for the new Cold War. Pentagon considers reopening 2 military bases amid growing threat from Russia in the Arctic. They would have those, gigantic dinosaur-looking things that was in Star Wars too. Maybe the big robots. DeSantis announces plans for a second immigration detention facility dubbed Deportation Depot. Home Depot's on line one. They're suing for the name. Why don't you make it like Seminole Center or something like that? Deportation Depot? Home Depot, Lowe's, and Deportation Depot. It sounds like a store. ICE to roll out bold new cars emblazoned with agency's name, logo, leaving agents furious and terrified. A bullseye. I don't see it as that big as what the new fleet will be a dark blue with ICE plastered in giant yellow letters across the side, along with the phrase "Defend the Homeland" in all caps. A photo obtained by the Post shows. They should have asked AI, hey, not Grok, ChatGPT, can you make me a good thumbnail of what the ICE car should look like? I bet it would be better. In sports, the Minnesota Vikings are under fire over male cheerleaders. The Minnesota Vikings come under fire for their new male cheerleaders, with some social media users saying they will no longer support the NFL team. While many fans may be seeing male cheerleaders for the first time in Viking games, male cheerleaders have been a part of various previous Viking teams, have long been associated with collegiate and professional cheerleading, the Minnesota Vikings said in a statement shared by Newsweek responding to the backlash. Maybe so, but I don't think they were like these male cheerleaders. Yeah. And kind of different. And in Carolina here, there's a tranny. So, I mean, I think it's in its third season. Radioactive wasp nests sparked demand for answers in South Carolina's Savannah River site. We talked about this last week. It's still a thing down there. From e-bikes to scooters, roads are getting more crowded and confusing. You see like those scooter type deal things, and obviously you got the rickshaws. Cities are facing a two-wheel traffic jam across the country. The streets of metro areas are filling with powered vehicles that are neither bikes nor Harleys, but something in between. Low-cost scooters, mini bikes, electric bikes, skateboards, and more, often with surprising speeds. Some varieties top out at 20 miles an hour or 28, while others can hit 40 to 60 miles an hour. And we always wondered about that with the Uber and was the other one that had the scooters. And we're always, especially on top of that, you see someone that's got messed up the night before they took a scooter home, and because dangerous after drinking. Jeffrey Epstein battle set to reignite in Congress. This is from the Hill. Capitol Hill battle over Jeffrey Epstein's post to heat up when Congress returns to Washington next month. So we still got a couple weeks for this preview of season 27. Melania Trump demands Hunter Brandon. Let's just go with Brandon. Everything demands Hunter Brandon retract comments linking her to Jeffrey Epstein. First Lady threatens to sue Joe Brandon's son after he said sex offender Jeffrey Epstein introduced her to DJ, once a future president DJT. I think she's suing for like $1 million. Was it? I want to say it was $1 million that she's suing for. Trump change. Yeah. Goldman Sachs says the risk of stock market decline has suddenly spiked. By the way, in housing, even if the housing goes down a couple percent, interest rates go down a couple percentage points, it doesn't matter. It's the price is going to be, as that one meme, it's too darn high. So they're going to just, I still think he's going to do the student loan forgiveness across the board just to get it up, because waiting for that crash in the housing market. My goodness, CNBC anchor flips out over whoppingly big inflation number amid Trump woes. Rick Santelli flipped the lid over higher than expected inflation numbers, a blow to once a future Emperor Donald J. Trump crusade for interest rate reduction and his firing of the BLS chief. Rick Santelli is fantastic. You ever watch him on CNBC? He's fun to watch. Electricity prices are surging, opening up a new line of attacks against Republicans. Good morning, early birds. We are 2 days away from a 2-week newsletter break. Oh, I didn't know that was part of it. Where are we at on the real thing? Continue reading. Electricity prices on the rise across these United States, and the political ramifications could be dramatic. According to U.S. Energy Information Administration, or EIA, if you're nasty, the average utility electric bill for a residential customer in the United States in 2024 was $144, up from $122 in 2021. And this week's Consumer Price Index report found electricity up 5.5% over last year, higher than the average inflation rate. This from Reuters. Meta's flirty AI chat box invited a retiree to New York, and he never made it home. You want to read it? Check it out in the show notes. Object resembling a helmet spotted on Mars surface by rover. Maybe it was Darth Helmet from Spaceballs that left it over overnight, or during the shooting for Spaceballs 2. Mississippi may require age verification, parental consent for social media, Supreme Court says. Again, a state can do whatever it wants. The Supreme Court on Thursday allowed Mississippi to enforce a state law. So, in other words, the Supreme Court allowed Mississippi to remain a state that required the nation's largest social media companies to verify the age of their users and obtain parental consent for minors, an effort the state said is intended to protect children from online predators. Now, again, I like the idea what Mississippi's doing, as long as it doesn't go in and bite us in the butt later. They're going to use kids for security and we're going to protect you, and then they're going to come and there's going to be an uppercut, take us out. Adults are going to sleepaway camp to make friends. It seems to actually work. Overnight camps are increasingly catering to solo travelers who are looking for an in-person connection because no one knows how to make friends anymore. In weather, another once-in-a-thousand-year storm just flooded Chattanooga. Entire neighborhoods are underwater. How many of these, more of these rare disasters this year? Before we admit this is not normal weather. And just here, well, the sun's gone now, but we've had 100-degree weather for a week and a half, over 100 degrees, just boom, it's cooking. And then 2 weeks in a row of nothing but rain. Today was the first day the sun has come out, and clouds just came back over. So I don't know where the sun went. We've seen the sun, and we've only literally probably about 8 hours of sun. So bad that farmers here haven't been out to pick their crops. Anyways, thank you for watching. As always, let me hit the little button thingies. Like, subscribe. Where's it at? Like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz. Again, the numbers are growing up slowly. Looks like we're kind of beating the shadow bans just a little bit. Nothing like we should. We still need to be literal average. We need another 1 million viewers a month. It's still around 700,000 a month. It's very low compared to where we usually are. Keep pounding of that. Again, check out senseofidelium.tv for your app. 2-week free trial when you hit it. Old Northwoods Wine. Go to oldnorthwoodswine.com. Get your wine. We talked about this on Father Ripper's show yesterday. You look at that. His wine will be coming out in the next month or so. There's already wine for St. John Cassius and the mothers, the Benedictine nuns and Gower, and they get up to 50% of the profits from the wine. Great wine, by the way. And if you use the code SF Wine, I get I get some pullback from the wine sales too. So help us, and enjoy and be merry. Wine is okay. Just don't drink the whole bottle at once. You're good. Thank you. Have a great rest of the day. And I'll see you tonight at News from the Pew with Rick Barrett from Rickcast.